Have you ever noticed how the hardest part isn't starting, it's continuing? You feel motivated one day, unstoppable even, then the next day that fire is gone. That's not because you're lazy or undisciplined, it's because you don't have momentum. Momentum is the invisible force that turns effort into consistency and dreams into daily action. And here's the truth, the people who succeed aren't more motivated than you. They've just learned how to build and protect momentum every single day. Stay with me until the end, because one of these lessons could completely change how you show up tomorrow. Lesson 1. Start small, win fast. The primary reason most people fail to launch a new project or habit is not a lack of talent, but the paralyzing weight of their own expectations. We often believe that for a change to be meaningful, it must be massive. We wait for the perfect Monday or the first of the year to overhaul our entire lives, only to find that the sheer scale of the change creates an insurmountable level of friction. This friction triggers the brain's amygdala, the center for fear, which views drastic change as a threat to safety. By starting small, you bypass this alarm system. You make the task so laughably simple that it requires no willpower to begin. A single push-up, a single sentence, or 1 minute of meditation acts as a gateway habit, opening the door to a productive state without the heavy toll of decision fatigue. Momentum is a physical property applied to human psychology. In physics, the amount of energy required to move a stationary object is significantly higher than the energy required to keep it moving once it has velocity. This is known as static friction. When you commit to a small win, you are essentially overcoming static friction. These micro-successes provide an immediate hit of dopamine, the neurotransmitter responsible for motivation and reward. This chemical signal tells your brain, "This felt good, let's do it again." By stacking these small victories, you create a positive feedback loop. You aren't just completing a task, you are retraining your brain to associate effort with success, which gradually increases your capacity for larger, more demanding challenges. Consistency is the bedrock of mastery, but consistency is impossible if the entry price is too high. If your goal is to write a book and you tell yourself you must write 2,000 words a day, you will eventually hit a day where your energy is low or your schedule is packed. On that day you will fail, and that failure will chip away at your self-trust. However, if your goal is to write just one paragraph, you can achieve that even on your worst day. This low floor ensures that you remain in motion regardless of external circumstances. Motion creates emotion. When you act even in a small way, you shift your internal state from passive observer to active participant, which is the only state in which true growth can occur. Finally, the win-fast mentality is about shortening the feedback loop between intention and result. Human beings are poorly evolved for delayed gratification. We want to see the fruits of our labor immediately. By breaking a large abstract goal into tiny actionable pieces, you provide yourself with the immediate gratification necessary to sustain long-term interest. You stop obsessing over the finish line and start focusing on the quality of the current step. This shift in focus reduces anxiety and increases presence. Over time, these insignificant daily wins compound like financial interest. After a year, the person who did one small thing every day is miles ahead of the person who waited for the perfect moment to do something big. Lesson 2. Design your environment for success. We like to think of ourselves as creatures of high intellect and iron will, but in reality we are largely products of our surroundings. This concept, often called choice architecture, suggests that the way our environment is structured dictates the majority of our daily decisions. If you walk into your kitchen and see a bowl of fruit on the counter, you are more likely to eat fruit. If the fruit is hidden in the bottom drawer of the refrigerator and a bag of chips is on the counter, you will eat the chips. Discipline is a finite resource. It is like a battery that drains as the day goes on. If you rely solely on your internal strength to resist temptation, you will eventually run out of power. Success, therefore, is less about having more willpower and more about requiring less of it. Designing for success involves two primary strategies: reducing friction for good habits and increasing friction for bad ones. If you want to exercise in the morning, lay your workout clothes and shoes out the night before. By doing this, you remove the micro-obstacles, searching for socks, finding a clean shirt that provide your brain with excuses to stay in bed. Conversely, if you want to stop checking your phone while working, Put it in another room, the mere physical distance creates a barrier that requires conscious effort to overcome. This intentional friction gives your thinking brain a chance to catch up with your impulsive brain and intervene before you make a choice you'll regret. Your environment also includes the digital and social spaces you inhabit. The apps on your home screen, the people you follow on social media, and the friends you spend the most time with all form a mental climate. If your digital environment is cluttered with notifications and negative news, your internal state will be one of distraction and anxiety. To cultivate focus, you must aggressively curate these inputs. Turn off non-essential notifications, unsubscribe from emails that don't add value, and surround yourself with people who normalize the behaviors you want to adopt. When excellence is the standard of your social circle, you don't need to try to be disciplined, you simply act in accordance with the group norm. Ultimately, an environment designed for success turns your default actions into your best actions. You want to reach a point where doing the right thing is the path of least resistance. This is the secret of high achievers. They aren't necessarily more disciplined than everyone else. They are just better at building systems of success that operate in the background. They treat their environment as a laboratory, constantly tweaking and adjusting variables to see what produces the best output. By taking control of your physical and digital surroundings, you move from being a victim of your environment to being the architect of your future. Lesson 3. Focus on identity, not just results. Most people approach self-improvement by focusing on outcomes. I want to lose 20 pounds, or I want to earn 6 figures. While goals are useful for setting a direction, they are insufficient for long-term change because they are external to who you are. When you focus only on the result, your happiness is always deferred to some future point that hasn't happened yet. Worse, once you achieve the goal, you often lose the motivation to maintain the habits that got you there. This is why many people regain weight after a diet or stop working hard after a promotion. To create lasting change, you must shift your focus from what you want to achieve to who you want to become, a process known as identity-based habits. Your current behaviors are simply a reflection of your current identity. If you believe you are a night owl or someone who is bad at math, you will subconsciously act in ways that reinforce those labels. To change your life, you must first change the story you tell yourself about yourself. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. When you write a single page, you are casting a vote for being a writer. When you go to the gym on a day you don't feel like it, you are casting a vote for being a disciplined person. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to win the majority of the votes over time. As the evidence of your new identity builds, your confidence grows and the behavior becomes natural. This shift in perspective transforms the nature of effort. Instead of saying I am trying to quit smoking, you say I am not a smoker. The first statement implies you are a smoker who is struggling to resist a craving. The second statement implies that smoking is no longer part of your identity. There is no struggle because there is no desire to act against who you are. When your habits and your identity are in alignment, you no longer need to rely on external rewards or motivation. You act a certain way because that is just what you do. This is the highest form of habit formation, where the behavior and the person are one and the same. Focusing on identity also builds resilience. When you define yourself by your results, a failure feels like a personal indictment. If you don't get the job, you feel like a failure. But if you define yourself by your identity as a person who is persistent and a lifelong learner, then a rejection is simply a piece of data to be processed. It doesn't change who you are, it just informs your next move. This internal stability allows you to navigate the ups and downs of life without losing your momentum. You become the captain of your own ship, guided by an internal compass rather than the shifting winds of external validation. Lesson 4. Track progress, not perfection. The human brain is remarkably bad at perceiving gradual change. Because we see ourselves every day, we often fail to notice the subtle improvements in our skills, health, or mindset. This lack of perceived progress is one of the leading causes of burnout and abandonment. We feel like we are working hard but getting nowhere. This is why tracking your progress is essential. It provides objective evidence that your efforts are paying off. Whether it's a habit tracker, a journal, or a spreadsheet, Seeing a visual representation of your work transforms an abstract process into a concrete reality. It turns the invisible work of self-improvement into a visible streak that you don't want to break. The key to effective tracking is to focus on the lead measures, the actions you take, rather than the lag measures, the final results. You cannot always control how much weight you lose in a week, but you can control how many days you walked for 30 minutes. By tracking your effort, you shift your focus to the variables within your control. This empowers you and reduces the frustration that comes from focusing on outcomes that are subject to external factors. When you look back at a week of completed checkboxes, you feel a sense of accomplishment regardless of what the scale says. This action-oriented tracking sustains momentum through the plateaus that inevitably occur in any journey. However, it is vital to remember that the goal of tracking is progress, not perfection. Many people fall into the trap of all or nothing thinking. If they miss one day of tracking or one day of their habit, they feel like they've failed and give up entirely. This is a cognitive distortion. The purpose of a tracker is to show you the trend of your life, not to demand a flawless record. A 90% success rate over a year is infinitely better than a 100% success rate for 2 weeks followed by a total collapse. You must learn to be a compassionate observer of your own data. If you see a gap in your tracker, don't use it as an excuse to quit. Use it as a signal to investigate what went wrong and how to adjust your environment. Visualizing progress also serves as a powerful motivator during difficult times. On days when you feel uninspired or tired, looking at a log of your past successes reminds you of your capability. It serves as proof that you have overcome challenges before and can do so again. This historical confidence is a shield against self-doubt. Moreover, tracking allows you to identify patterns. You might notice that you always miss your workout on Tuesdays, leading you to realize that you need to change your schedule for that specific day. In this way, tracking becomes a tool for continuous improvement, allowing you to optimize your life based on real-world evidence rather than guesswork. Lesson 5. Never miss twice. The never miss twice rule is perhaps the most powerful tool for maintaining long-term consistency. It acknowledges a fundamental truth: life is unpredictable and perfection is impossible. You will get sick, your car will break down, or you will simply have a day where your willpower is at zero. Most people view these slips as a sign that they lack discipline or that their plan is flawed. This leads to the what the heck effect, where one small mistake leads to a total abandonment of the goal. I already ate a cookie, so I might as well eat the whole box. The never miss twice rule stops this downward spiral before it begins by drawing a line in the sand. Missing once is an accident. Missing twice is the start of a new habit. When you miss a day, your primary objective the following day is not to make up for the lost time, but simply to get back on track. If you missed your workout yesterday, don't try to work out twice as hard today, just do your regular session. The goal is to prevent the gap from widening. By refocusing immediately, you prove to yourself that your identity is still intact and that the slip-up was an anomaly, not a change in character. This approach prioritizes the rhythm of your life over the intensity of any single day, which is the secret to enduring success. This principle also removes the paralyzing guilt that often accompanies failure. Guilt is a terrible motivator. It drains energy and leads to avoidance. When you adopt the never miss twice rule, you replace guilt with a simple, actionable plan. You accept the miss as a part of the process and pivot your focus toward the next opportunity to succeed. This builds a resilient mindset that can withstand the chaos of daily life. It shifts your perspective from "I must be perfect" to "I must be persistent." This subtle change makes you much more likely to stick with your goals for the months and years required to see significant transformation. In the long run, your success is determined not by your best days but by how you handle your worst days. Anyone can be productive when they are feeling motivated and everything is going well. The true test is what you do when things go wrong. The never miss twice rule ensures that your bad days don't become your bad life. It creates a safety net that catches you when you fall and bounces you back into action. By mastering the art of the quick recovery, you become unstoppable. You realize that as long as you can get back up, no single stumble can ever truly stop your progress. Momentum is built daily, not magically. It's created through small actions, clear identity, and simple rules that keep you moving forward even when motivation fades. Remember, you don't need to feel inspired to take action. Action itself creates inspiration. If you commit to just one lesson from today, your days and your future will start to look very different. Stay consistent, stay in motion, and keep building momentum.